My dad's voice echoed through the house like a thunderclap. Get out and stay out. His face was red, veins bulging, his hands gripping the doorframe as if he needed support to hold back his rage. I stood there frozen, my duffel bag in my hand, my heart pounding so loudly I thought he could hear it. My mother stood in the corner with her arms crossed, lips pursed so tightly they were almost white. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. The look in her eyes was enough. I was no longer their son. I was a failure. A disappointment. Someone they didn't even want in their home. It all started when I dropped out of law school. I couldn't do it anymore. The late nights, the crushing debt, the endless pressure. My father had always dreamed of me becoming the lawyer he never could be, and I tried. I really tried. But every day I spent there, I felt myself dying a little more inside. My heart wasn't in it. I was suffocating, and I needed out. So I made the hardest decision of my life and walked away. I thought maybe my parents would be upset but supportive, that they'd understand I needed a different path. I was wrong. The moment I told them, the house erupted. My father screamed like I'd just destroyed his life. My mother called me selfish and lazy, said I'd wasted their sacrifices. That night, they threw me out. No discussion, no hug, no offer of help. Just pure rejection. I walked down the driveway with tears blurring my vision, my bag feeling heavier with every step. But here's what they didn't know, I wasn't broke. I wasn't lost. I wasn't a failure. I'd been quietly building something for years. While they thought I was wasting time gaming and coding in my room, I had started a small software company. That small company had just closed a massive deal. My net worth, over $30 million. I didn't even fight them. I didn't yell back or beg them to let me stay. I just walked away, got in my car, and drove off into the night. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly they hurt, but I couldn't stop the small smile tugging at the corners of my mouth. They had no idea who they were throwing out. The next morning, I woke up in my Malibu mansion. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the ocean, sunlight pouring in like gold. My life had completely transformed in silence. While my parents thought I was drowning, I had been quietly thriving. I spent that day on my balcony, sipping coffee, staring out at the waves, and planning my next move. I wasn't going to call them, wasn't going to explain myself. No, they were going to see what they lost. 3 weeks later, I sent the invitation. A sleek, formal card in an expensive envelope, embossed with my company logo. You are cordially invited to the grand opening of Summit Technologies headquarters. That was my company. They'd heard me mention it in passing but thought it was some silly side project. I didn't put my name on the invitation. I wanted them to show up not knowing. I wanted the surprise to hit them like a truck. When the night of the event arrived, the building was lit up like a jewel. Cameras flashed as reporters gathered, curious about the mysterious young CEO who had taken the tech world by storm. Luxury cars pulled up one after another, and guests walked the red carpet into the glass lobby. I stood near the entrance in a tailored black suit, my confidence radiating. My parents arrived late, dressed modestly compared to the crowd, clearly feeling out of place. They didn't see me at first. They were looking around nervously, clutching the invitation like it might explain what they were doing there. I stepped forward. Mom, Dad. My voice was calm, almost casual. They turned, and their jaws dropped. My mother's eyes widened, and my father's mouth opened slightly. As if he'd seen a ghost. You're here. My father stammered. Yes, I said with a smile. I own the place. The color drained from his face. My mother blinked, glancing around at the elegant surroundings, the reporters, the investors. You own this, she whispered. Every bit of it. The rest of the night was pure satisfaction. I led them on a tour of the building, introducing them to high-profile investors and industry leaders who treated me with respect they'd never shown me at home. This young man is a genius, one investor said, clapping me on the back. My father forced a smile, but I could see the shame in his eyes. My mother kept glancing at me like she didn't recognize me. At dinner, I sat at the head of the table, surrounded by some of the most powerful people in tech. My parents sat quietly near the end, barely speaking. I could feel the tension radiating from them. Every toast to my success was like a dagger twisting in their pride. After the dinner, I pulled them aside. I know you're surprised, I said calmly. But I wanted you to see something. I'm not a failure. I'm not lazy. And I don't need your approval anymore. My father's lips trembled, and for a moment, I thought he might apologize. But instead, he said nothing. Just a stiff nod. My mother reached for my hand but stopped short. I smiled. Thank you for coming, I said softly. Enjoy the party. Then I turned and walked away, leaving them standing there, surrounded by everything they said I'd never achieve. The next day, they called. My mom's voice was shaky, full of regret. We didn't know, she said. We just wanted what was best for you. What was best for me? I said with a bitter laugh. Throwing me out, calling me a failure. That wasn't for me. That was for you. There was silence on the other end. Finally, she whispered, can we talk? Can we make things right? I thought about it for a long time. And maybe one day, I will forgive them. But for now, I needed them to sit with the weight of their words, to remember the night they kicked me out thinking I was worthless. I told her I was busy and hung up. I didn't need their validation anymore. Success had given me something much sweeter than their approval, freedom. I looked out over the ocean from my balcony that evening, the salty breeze on my face, and felt a peace I'd never known before. I wasn't their son, the failure they'd cast aside. I was me, and I had built everything I wanted without them. Sometimes, revenge isn't about screaming, fighting, or proving a point. Sometimes, it's about living so well that those who doubted you can't help but regret it every single day. And as I stood there, watching the sun sink into the Pacific, I knew they'd never forget what they'd lost when they slammed that door in my face. So I raised my glass, not to them, but to the moment I decided to walk away. Because in the end, the sweetest revenge isn't their apology. It's knowing I never needed it in the first place.